Vegas is breaking ground and the A's are breaking narratives. Today on Locked On A's.
You are Locked On A's, your daily podcast on the Athletics, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On A's, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am your host, Booney. One name, all passion, zero sugarcoating. I've been riding with this franchise since Ricky ran wild and the Bash Brothers made pitchers consider early retirement. This isn't just a podcast. It's a no BS clubhouse for A's fans who still believe, still fight, and are ready to build something special. We are not waiting for 2028 to show up. We are building the Las Vegas Athletics fan base right now. From the field to the front office, from Sacramento to the Strip, we are covering it all, and we are doing it loud, proud, and unfiltered. You will get the raw truth here, the real story, and always both sides of the story, whether it is on the field or off the field. So you can make the call because Locked On A's is your podcast. This is your team. This is the fans' podcast. Is there something you want me to cover? You let me know. I'm not here to talk at you. I'm here to build this community with you. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. So smash that subscribe button, share it with every A's fan you know, and let's light up the Strip together. Let's grow this fan base into something Vegas hasn't seen since Tark was biting on that towel. Today's episode is brought to you in part by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Good evening, everybody. Buckle up. We've got a phenomenal show lined up tonight. Groundbreaking is officially underway. And no, I'm not just talking about bulldozers and shovels. Vegas is heating up, and it's just not the triple-digit temperatures. There's something in the air on the Strip, and we're going to talk about it. Is the vibe shifting? Are the tides turning? It feels like it. Meanwhile, the A's rolled into Atlanta like they belonged, and Brent Rooker and Jacob Wilson, stars in a city full of them, the only team in baseball without a city on their chest, still managed to steal some spotlight. But what was the actual buzz on the ground in Braves country? What were people really saying about the A's? To break it all down, we got a returning guest who checks all the boxes. Atlanta native, Vegas resident, and a man who was in the building. Russell Christian is here. He's also the host of The Case for, a Baseball Hall of Fame podcast. So without further ado, court is not in session because this show is already guilty of being awesome. Let's get into it. Russell, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Love that intro, man. Guilty charged.
So you just got back from Atlanta today.
I did. Late last night. Yeah.
Late last night.
Yeah.
How was it, man?
It was awesome. I've never been to an All-Star game before, and I always make a point of watching the game. But I went to the home run derby, the All-Star game. And my daughter was there with me. My brother was there, and his wife. It was awesome. And I didn't know they did this. They have an All-Star Village, so it's like a place you can go hang out. And you probably saw online, like players were posting pictures there. They had interactive exhibits. I mean, it was like a 3-day baseball party. It was
Is
awesome.
that right? Did you go to the Futures game too, or no?
I didn't, but I talked to some folks that went to the celebrity softball game and the Futures game and the HBCU. I mean, yeah, there was stuff. There was all kinds of stuff going on. It's like, it's awesome. And I mean, not to brag, I love the Braves, but I'll admit, like their old stadiums were crappy, but like Truist Park is incredible.
It is. That's right. It's just a whole village in its own, correct? It's like
they essentially built the Wrigleyville. When they built Truist, they built the Battery. There's bars, there's restaurants, there's shops. It absorbs the people. And then if you walk across the street, there's an old mall. I say old, I grew up there, the Galleria Mall. And that's where they have a convention center. That's where the All-Star Village was. Dale Murphy's got a restaurant there, perfect location.
Is that right?
Yeah, go hang out before and after the game. So it's a nice setup. And there's a bridge. Now it's really hot. we parked closer, but the weather's cool. There's a bridge there. You can walk across the street. So the setup was really good, and just just a lot of fun. Like I was saying earlier, like it was like going to summer camp for a few days, but it's just all baseball, So
what was the vibe like? Was the vibe pretty amazing?
Vibe was great. And I got to say, obviously, there's a lot of Braves fans, but fans from all over, because people wearing their hats, wearing their jerseys. We were sitting, there's guys in front of us with Rosarena jerseys. When they announced O'Neal Cruz, the home run derby, this whole row of people behind us screaming. So it was really cool. I was trying to get a picture. I was riding the car. My brother's driving. There was Brent Rooker billboard. It was one of the billboards.
That's right.
Digital. It changes every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And it said All-Star Game, and it was Brent Rooker. And I was like, no way. I was trying to get my phone out, and it changed. But, yeah, there was a buzz. Man, it was great. And seeing Rooker hit that home run. I think I put the video and tagged you.
You did. That was awesome, man. That was big time.
I was happy with that.
Did you have a favorite between the home run derby and the All-Star Game? Or, I mean, the game was a hell of a game.
Yeah, but it's such apples and oranges. I have to say, for what it's worth, every seat was full at the beginning of both.
Okay.
Every seat was full at the very end of the home run derby.
Okay.
Whereas people, I'm not gonna lie, we were like, you guys want to stick around and get stuck in an hour of traffic? We left in the top of the ninth because we said, oh, the National League's got this in the bag. Get outside, hear the crowd. Like, oh, we just won. We get in the car, and it's like, no, the AL just tied the game, and then we watched the home run derby in the car, and when we got home. But and if you watch that home run derby, it's not just me. The crowd's like the place was clearing out in the 8th inning of the All-Star Game, and then in the 9th, even in the top of the 9th, if you watch the video, like half the stadium is there because Atlanta traffic's horrible. So,
was it a surprise? Did people know that there was going to be a swing off? Did that
I had no idea. And so that's where I was, and I should probably know. I have a podcast, but they changed.
No, I mean, most people, even a lot of people, didn't know there was a swing off. Even people who follow it. I mean, I
had no idea.
Yeah,
because we saw National League. It's funny because the All-Star Game. It's awesome to make it. And everyone, if you make Major League Baseball, you're great. If you make the All-Star team, you're one of the best. But I made a joke. It was like 7th or 8th inning, and one of the reserves from the Marlins came up, and I was like, well, they're playing. I pick on the Marlins because I'm a Braves fan,
Sure.
Well, if they got guys from the Marlins up, it's about time to start thinking about when we want to leave, when we start playing the Rockies and the Marlins guys.
The players didn't even know. I'm not surprised. Yeah, a lot of people didn't know. It seemed like.
Yeah, I had no idea because we figured, well, worst case scenario, they tie it. It was almost midnight already, and
it's late.
Yeah, so it's like I'm not gonna stick around for extra innings and watch a 15-inning tie like it was. What was it, a couple of years ago? So I had no idea they did a swing off, and I was like in the car, we were watching it like in real time. I was like, oh my gosh! My brother's like, we can turn around. I was like, it'd be 3 hours.
Yeah, the home run derby had a little controversy too with Rooker. It seems like he almost got cheated twice.
Dude, I have to tell you, in the crowd, we had no idea. Because there's not announcers.
Sure.
It's just, and I told my brother, my daughter, I said, I'm only going to complain about this once. And I think I complained about it 6 times. The format needs to change. Back to the home run or out.
I don't like the rally ball, there's the quick toss,
it's so fast. Well, and it's interesting because on the TV, it's just back and forth.
Yes.
And then in the stands, you're watching. And you just have to selectively pick. I'm gonna follow this ball.
Sure.
Hands, and by doing that, you're gonna miss
the next one.
The next one. So the format has to change.
I agree.
It would.
The rapid fire. I just hated it, man. I hated it.
Yeah, and I didn't. And because there's so many guys in the first round, and they're putting their totals up, and then it's just the next round, and there's no announcer, explaining what's happening. So I had no idea about the Rooker. The 0.56 billionth of an inch or whatever.
And how about the two balls short?
Yeah, I saw Dallas Braden was talking about that. I was like, I had I can't see. I can't see how many balls from the basket.
It's
no idea.
It's amazing how and it's kind of a complaint I have with MLB is like the little things. They miss the little things. Like a huge event like that, you wouldn't be on top of the little details like that. Like make sure the instructions are crystal clear. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I was going to do sort of a good, the bad, and the ugly breakdown in my pod. I'll do a little bit here too. That there was something I felt like they had a guy, and I forget his name, and I know who he is. He's an announcer, and he was talking on the field, but they need someone with like a bit of an it factor,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
They need explaining what's happening. It'd be nice. I mean, especially because the rules change every year. Whereas baseball games, normally you're like, oh, I know what happens because I've been playing since Little League and the game hasn't changed. Well, the game has changed a lot, and some of the rule changes are fine. I'm fine with it. But the home run derby, it's an exhibition. The rules change every year. I felt like nobody knew what was going on.
Now, did you get a chance to get out there early, hit the bars, talk to the fans, stuff like that before the thing?
I did. I got in. So my brother's wife works for one of the sponsors of the stadium. And so they had a lot of the bars were reserved for companies, stuff like private events. So we were able to go to some private events. I met David Ortiz, which was really cool. Yeah. So it's funny picture because he's there with like his friends, his posse or whatever it is. And they have like their booth. And so when he would get up to take pictures, he'd kind of go over to get a picture. And I guess we were at the end, and his buddy's like, last picture. You guys get together. So my daughter and I get together, and one of his buddies takes the worst picture of me and my daughter ever taken, like crooked angle. It's like zoomed in on me. It looked like I weigh 800 pounds. I'm a big guy already, but I was like awful. But David Ortiz looks sexy. He's in the middle. He's all dressed up. He's got his shades on inside with his chain. I was like, it's all that matters. Ortiz looks good.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, my daughter's like, he smells really good. I was like, I noticed that too. David Ortiz smells really good. He's got good cologne. Yeah. So
I want to, after this break, I want to talk to you a little bit about the feel out there, the conversations, maybe with the A's going to Vegas, the Braves obviously struggling this year. What was that all like in here in about a minute? Summer sports are in full swing, and whether you are all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. You are already following the action. Why not make it a little more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach. I've been using FanDuel to track my favorite matchups, and the app keeps it fresh with new daily promotions and fun ways to bet. It's easy to use, fast to pay out, and makes even regular season games feel like must-watch events. Whether I'm placing a same-game parlay or watching a bet ride into the ninth inning, FanDuel makes it feel like I'm part of the action. New to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started. Russell, any conversations out there you had with anybody with regard to the A's situation, going to Vegas, playing in a minor league park? It's always interesting to kind of get a different view from the rest of the country.
Not a lot. I did see some A's fans, and I'd say it was so crowded, like you couldn't really just make small talk. And like to your point earlier, the bars before, they were all packed. So it wasn't like a slow game where he goes, blah, blah, blah. But I noticed that Pat McAfee, the guy with his he made a comment about they play in a minor league stadium.
I saw that.
And I was like, okay, I throw a little shade, But the conversations, I talked to just a few people here and there, and the conversations are kind of the same as I have here. Like, are they going to move there? What's happening? Sure. The uncertainty. So, I don't want to steal your thunder a little bit, but I feel like we got a little bit of certainty in the past week with the building cam, the construction cam.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think they have that. Absolutely, shoot. I hope more and more people just kind of know about it and just end it and kind of get back to baseball a little bit more. How about the Braves though? The Braves are struggling a little bit. There must be a lot of frustrated fans out there.
Yeah, I meant to send you a message the other day. I was like, okay, the Braves played the A's. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? I was like, okay, the Braves
it was last week.
Yeah, I was like, all right, the Braves stink this year. They're playing the A's, and now that I live in Vegas, they're going to be my team, so I'm rooting for the A's. So it's like, okay, I just want to see an exciting game. And it was a fun back and back. But then they hit Jacob Wilson. I'm like, you can't even win, and now you're going to potentially injure the other team that I like. I'm like, you can't do anything right. I'm so mad at the Braves. Luckily Jacob was okay.
They still got a lot of pieces. I mean, they show what they can be. You still have. They've gotten hurt. I mean, you have a healthy team. You have a legitimate 1-2 in Sale and Strider.
Yeah,
and Acuna, we know what he can be when he's back. But I think. But some of those guys are getting a little bit older, right? Olsen,
for sure.
Olsen's still good, but I don't know if he's playing up to that contract good.
He had that monster season a couple of years ago, and now he's hot and cold. The big thing, I'll say the big thing in the Braves right now, I mean, I feel like they got to move Azuna because he's going into a contract here. So he's free agent next year. He's played better than I expected. I think than anyone expected. He had, his off-field issues. I mean, those were like distant past now. I think 4 or 5 years ago and stuff.
Yeah.
And he was struggling on the field as a result, but then he really has turned it up. But I think I want to say he's mid-30s. I mean, he's more than exceeded, but the problem is he's hurt. So if he can get healthy and like make a buzz and we can flip him, that would be good. Because the conversation in Braves country, and I proposed some stuff on my Twitter, is whether or not we need to rebuild. And if we rebuild, what does that look like?
What does that look like? I don't know if you can rebuild. I mean, I almost it's one of those situations with there's just too many contracts. I just think you just put it in the back seat to a bad year and say, hey, let's go at it again next year.
I think that's the best because I put some stuff on my Twitter about these are the guys I'd keep, these are the guys I traded. And the thing is, this is what the Braves did smartly, is they signed a lot of guys to long-term deals when they were young. They've got Austin Riley, I think, through 2023. Yeah. He's one of the more, I think, underrated guys in the league. Like, I mean, he puts up MVP caliber seasons every year.
Love a third. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's great. But then, you get questions. I think every Braves fan says generally, like, the Braves need to hold on to Acuna. Whatever they do, they can't let Acuna walk like Freddie did,
Yeah. I don't think you can you? I mean,
what's that?
What side of the fence are you on that?
I say absolutely keep him. He's generational talent.
Even right now after injury, he's a top 5 player in baseball. When he's healthy, he's the best player in baseball.
Yeah, I took a picture outside the stadium. They had Ohtani Judge right at the entrance, and I tweeted that out today. And I was like, look, those are the 2 best players this decade. Acuna's probably 3. He's had some injuries here and there, but when he's healthy, that 40-70 season, he's just as exciting as Judge and Ohtani, and he's young enough to be exciting in the future,
No question. Absolutely. His big thing is can his speed come back, because what makes him so special is the threat on the bags, right? He can obviously hits for power, but what makes him one of the best players in baseball is stealing those bags. So
and I think what they're doing with Acuna, and I think this is wise because he's had a couple knee injuries, is not giving him the perennial green light, but knowing he's got it in the bag for late inning situations, playoff situations. And I've seen, this is the thing with Ricky. He just having Acuna on first when you watch, throws a pitcher off. Changes the game. And you start now it's changed because they get the 2 or was it 3 maximum, and then if they don't get him, he gets the base.
Everyone's on edge, and that's how it was with Ricky. Yeah.
That's what I always just say. I was on your buddy Pete Turner's podcast, and we were talking about my favorite era of baseball. It was the 80s, the base stealing. And I know that went out the door with Moneyball, but like you can't – the stats don't track the mental aspect of getting in a pitcher's head and messing with him when he's trying to close the game out, and you got to – like Acuna might run on
you. Absolutely. Yeah, the analytics don't cover a lot of that stuff. Wow. Yeah. That's awesome, man. We're going to take a quick break here, literally about 2 seconds. And I want to get your idea on Vegas, the vibe there. What's been going on? Has it changed? Is it the same? Too early to tell? About 2 seconds.
Sure.
What is going on in Vegas right now? I told you it was fast. Does it feel the same since the groundbreaking? Is there a different vibe out there?
I think there's been a growing vibe, especially, I always said with the Raiders, I said, I'll believe they're playing here when they're playing an actual game, and so I kind of felt the way with the A's, but now that the groundbreakings happened, it started feeling real this season and last year when they had the spring training games here, especially this year, because this year at the spring training game, there was, a concerted effort by the team to be like, we are the Vegas A's. They're going to be the Vegas A's. And I feel like that's just rolling through the season. I go to a lot of Aviators games. The AAA.
Do you really?
Yeah. They're just down the street.
Fun team.
Yeah. The fun team. And what's cool is now, like some of my buddies that we go to the game with, like we're seeing Nick Kurtz and Jacob Wilson and Rooker. Like a lot of these guys have come through the Aviators. And hey, this guy's a top prospect. And then you see him go to the A's. And then you see guys come down for rehab assignments. I was at a game a few weeks ago. Shea Langoliers is playing there. I'm like, that's freaking Shea Langoliers.
Back there now,
Yeah. So So that makes it real. It's like these are our guys, and they're
right.
playing just down the street in
Yeah.
in. I'm biased, but I think the nicest stadium in minor league baseball.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Toledo Mud Hens have a great stadium too, but Vegas has a great one. So it's becoming very real, and their stadium is making it real. And I've seen there's a lot of naysayers. Look, there's a buzz. Sports fans here. The Golden Knights proved that Vegas can not only have a sports team, but a sports team can do well, and the fan base shows up.
Jesus, I mean, arguably one of the most iconic college teams of all time was the UNLV Running Rebels.
Yeah, you're talking about
Tark the Shark. I mean, Vegas was just, and this is way before any of the sports type of vision the city had. It was way before that time. I mean, it was literally at that time the only sports that was going on in Vegas. And it was the most exciting college basketball team in the country for about a good decade, from about 82 to 90 something. They were just phenomenal, man. I mean, the way they turned out, and that's what's kind of underrated about Vegas. And because when you look at Vegas, you look at it, the lights, the glamour, and people generally have a stereotype of that means no passion. It's all touristy. And the Golden Knights showed that. I mean, the old school Vegas Running Rebels showed that. So I think it's going to be. I'm extremely excited, and there's supposed to be a couple series next year for the Aviators, and the Aviators draw as well.
They draw. Well, it's such a beautiful stadium, and it's in a nice part of town, and there's hotels nearby. That's the thing. Talking about the Battery in Atlanta and building Wrigleyville, it's like Vegas can absorb a crowd. I don't get into it. I was a little critical because I was like, the Battery, like it's fun, but I'm like, they can't on the drop of a dime absorb 100,000 people like Vegas can. 2 million people can show up in downtown Vegas, and you
not their first rodeo.
Yeah, they can absorb it. And that's what's going to be exciting, I think, about the A's. I was, talking about Pete Turner. We were talking about this on Twitter a few weeks ago. It's like when not just the stadium is built, but, the casinos down there start doing what they did by the Knight Stadium and building bars, building places for fans to hang out before and after the game. Sports bars start popping up. When all that starts popping up and you get the pre and post game hangout spots, it's going to be incredible. Because even with the Raiders, even though they don't have the same sort of necessarily loyalty, we love the Knights. The Raiders are fun, but the Raiders games are packed and sold out. Even if it's teams from or fans from other teams, whatever, it's a fun place to go watch a game.
No question. Question for you now. Now I know it's different when you're talking about surroundings and so forth, but when you're talking about surroundings, Truist Park, Atlanta is as far as the city they've built, it's one of the best in all of baseball. What would be can you compare that to Vegas, or is that just completely different?
It's different. Well, here's the thing, like at least the schematics I'm seeing, assuming, there's always some changes, but the new A's Stadium is supposed to have a view of the Strip. I mean, how cool is that? Because T-Mobile, where the Knights play, and then Allegiant, where the Raiders play, are both closed. So you can't see the Strip. And you really can't see it from you can see it from some parts of the Aviator Stadium at the top. You can see the mountains real well from the Aviator Stadium. That's a draw. Because that's the thing. Truist Park, as beautiful as the stadium is, all you can really, it's in the suburbs. You can't see downtown Atlanta. You can see the buildings at the Battery, and that's kind of it. So there's not that vista, so to speak, like you have at PNC Park, or you had at Oakland before they built, was it Mount Davis?
Russell, senior softball games here has a good question. I think it's a question that is echoed by a lot of people who don't live in Vegas that think the same thing. First part of his question, most people that live in the suburbs of Vegas don't like coming to the Strip. Second part, I think it's going to be tough to draw fans, especially for 81 games. What do you think?
So I will agree that living in the suburbs, I don't go to the Strip unless people visit or I'm going to a game. And it's a question of, winning teams draw more fans.
What it comes down to, right?
Yeah. And there's been no shortage of fans at the Raiders games. I'll say, not to get into the nuances, but there are certain areas of the Strip that are easier to get into than others as a resident here. And so getting into T-Mobile's kind of actually not one of the harder places because you get off at, I think it's Trop right there. So
T-Mobile holds what, 19?
I want to say, it's not that big. It's really pretty. It's not that big.
Yeah.
In this stadium, it'll be kind of an ordeal to get into, but I think you're going to surprise some people because I will say there's been videos. I don't want to say this because I don't want the A's to be the team that everyone shows up to cheer against, but worst case scenario, that was always the plan with Vegas. There was when they played the Steelers last year, they showed all the people with terrible towels and they outnumbered the Raiders fans. And it's like, well, they're still selling it out. So Raiders played 8 games.
Yeah, I agree. NFL and MLB's night in two different animals.
I've been hearing that since I first came out here when I was in law school. It was 2008. They said, no way we can sustain a baseball team, 81 games a season. I mean, we'll see. I don't have the answer, but I think, and I'm biased because maybe I live in a bubble because I'm a big baseball fan, but I think we're seeing right now a great moment in baseball history. Attendance is up, viewership is up.
Viewership was crazy for the 7.2 million, I believe it was.
Yeah, through the roof. And you've got generational talents, Acuna, Judge, Ohtani. Every generation has its great players. And you can sit here and say, well, players this era better. I mean, what Judge and Ohtani and Acuna when he's healthy are doing, I mean, nobody's done. And you're seeing, how many more peak years are we going to see a Judge and Ohtani? It's just, and then we got Ellie De La Cruz, Bobby Witt Jr. I could go on to it. We've got, O'Neal Cruz. I have to mention this. I watched him with my own 2 eyes.
Amazing, wasn't it?
Out of Truist Park that hit a building behind it and broke a window. I'm like, that guy. I think they said that he has like the fastest throw and the fastest exit velo in StatCast history or something like that. You've got some generational talents.
Bamboo has a nice point too here. We don't know what everything's going to look like in 2028, but it's basically an add on the fact that more and more Americans can't afford certain luxuries anymore, let alone affording to live is hard enough. We've been hearing that. I think that goes nationwide, not necessarily in Vegas. But maybe obviously, but you think that's going to be a factor? We don't know. 2028.
We don't know because I will say that's a problem. They've been talking about that since I was a kid in the 80s. Oh, if the average family of 4 to go to a ball game, cost X and it goes up exponentially every year. And that's a problem because you want to see everyone be able to go. But I remember even in the heydays of the Braves in the 90s, there would always be $5 seats like up in the nosebleeds and stuff. And it's so I hope, look, I get that they're trying to make money and a lot of the teams make that money from the boxes, luxury boxes stuff. So I would love to see some affordable tickets at this new A's stadium. I realize I got to pay it off somehow, but you don't want to price it out. I'm going to be honest. I've personally never been to a Raiders game for that reason because I look and see the tickets and I'm like, I don't think so. So baseball can charge less because there's more games. But that's if the price of the tickets is so high that a diehard baseball fan like me says no, and it's just going to go to corporate, whatever.
The other thing, the criticism I do have about Vegas a little bit, and the Vegas folks out there can correct me if I'm wrong, and you can correct me if I'm wrong as well, is I feel they've lost a little bit of touch with reality. And here's what I mean. They've overestimated the whole idea of supply and demand. I remember 5-10 years ago, I was gambling, go to Vegas. It was no problem for me to get a room for free on the weekends or whatever it may be. I have friends now that go, still the same thing, and pretty high-end gamblers. They can't get free rooms. You have to be on the ultra big roller to get any type of free rooms. And everything seems expensive, and it seems that's kind of catching up with them right now.
I think you're right. I actually agree with you. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't interrupt you. Yeah.
No. And it just seemed like the whole thing. And I hope that because when I'm thinking high prices or people are pricing things, it really comes down to the old vintage supply and demand. And it seems like that's more and more getting thrown out the window.
There's a lot of websites and social media accounts to follow, for Vegas, and they've been consistently buzzing for years that people that, regular working folks that like to go to Vegas and have fun aren't doing it, or, because I get that you're trying to cater to the whales and stuff like that. But if you price everyone out and you're only having the whales like this, this isn't, the French Riviera. This isn't some ultra elite like island for, G7 summit, people. Like, it's Vegas. And then the old days, that's you'd hear like you get comped. I mean, when I first moved out here, I think it was law school. I interned out here. I lived off the 99-cent shrimp cocktail. I was working at the public defender's office on a law student's budget. I ate that for lunch like 4 or 5 times a week, because I was broke. They don't have stuff like that anymore.
No, they don't. It doesn't seem like they do.
Yeah.
So Anthony, I believe they are rebuilding Tropicana. I believe the Rays are staying there, as far as my understanding. Here in Sac, the tickets are high in the parking.
Wow.
D3500, I don't think the tickets are high in Sacramento at all, man. I've sat right behind the dish, got it on the secondary market, 15 rows from home plate, let's say middle of the dugout and home plate, $30, $25, $30 for it. Yeah. I haven't seen cheaper tickets anywhere in the big leagues than I've gotten in Sacramento. And again, this is on the secondary market, obviously, because the resale isn't been very good. But I think, even in when you're looking at the list price values, it seems high. But if you were to compare them to other major league ballparks, those same type of seats, they're cheaper. So I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is there too. They used to have $2 tickets at the Coliseum. I got 162. Yeah. Jeez. It seems like the deals like that are gone. And that's one complaint I do have with the A's. There's never, it's even at the Coliseum, no matter what it was, the fan experience was never good. You never felt like they valued the person there. Even in Sacramento, you never got like a 6-beer deal, anything. It was just, they looked like they were trying to just nail you every single nickel. And that's how I felt.
Yeah. And it's funny, I'm talking about the Aviators earlier. I've been going to Aviators games for years. And before that, they were the Area 51s and they played at Cashman Field, which is a dump downtown. But they still, to this day, they'll have $1 beer night, $1 hot dog night. Even Dodger Stadium has a deal in right field where you get your tickets. They're on the benches, but they have the all you can eat hot dogs and stuff. So I'd love to see. I get that they have a new stadium, but I don't want them to just cater to international baccarat, whales or whatever. You got to have regular red-blooded fan base coming in there.
With 33,000 people, and it's not a big stadium, obviously 32,000. Listen, if the supply and demand's there, fine. But let's just not price people out just on assumption. And that's what I hope they figure that out. And that's the only thing with the A's management. Sometimes they lose touch with reality of what's going on around them. It just seems like they're in their own data. That's the feel I get when I've gone to Oakland, when I've gone to Sacramento. It's like, shoot, I don't want every time go up there paying for an $18 beer. It's like,
the beers were pricey at the All-Star game. I'll tell you what.
I bet they were, huh?
Yeah, food was.
They were.
It is what it is,
man.
Yeah.
Hey, Russell, man, thank you so much, brother. I really, really appreciate it. It's a blast. Always a pleasure to have you on, man.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thanks for having me on. It's great talking to you.
Absolutely, man.
All right, take care.
Thank you for making Locked On A's your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts.